Back in days, people would buy an Android phone instead of an iPhone mainly because of price tag. But we got to a point that price between a flagship Android phone and a new iPhone is similar. On the other hand, there are mid-ranger phones with a half of a flagship price that can deliver more or less the same functionalities. I am Mo, and this is Flagship versus Mid-Ranger Debate Sony Edition. At first look, these two Sony Xperia phones look very similar, but one of them costs more than double. And if you stick with me, you will understand if you should spend 800 euros on Xperia 5 Mark V versus 350 euros on Xperia 10 Mark V. First, let's talk about the look and feel and build quality. They share similar dimensions, a 21:9 aspect ratio, and boast a clean, notch-free design. They both have an NFC reader and are IP65 rated, meaning they are water and dust resistant. Stereo speakers are included for both, and they have similar SIM card tray, headphone jack, and support for a micro SD card. Moving on to the build, the Xperia 5 offers wireless charging, a premium aluminum frame, and a dedicated shutter button, while the Xperia 10 opts for a plastic back. But remember, plastic doesn't always mean inferior. It can be robust and lighter. In fact, Xperia 10 is actually 30 grams lighter than the more expensive brother. The Xperia 5's fingerprint scanner is more responsive, but Xperia 10 isn't far behind. Apart from the lack of a dedicated camera button, for me, there are negligible differences in the body department. Therefore, in terms of build quality and design, it's a close call with no clear winner. If you've enjoyed the comparison so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It is a small channel and your support means the world to me. Now onto the display. Both back a 6.1-inch 1080 by 2520 resolution, providing a 449 ppi density. According to a GSM Arena, the maximum brightness on the Xperia 5 is 875 nits, and the Xperia 10 offers 947 nits in manual mode. That's surprisingly more than what Xperia 5, the flagship version, is offering. My personal experience is that the brightness level on both displays is similar and enough for bright outdoor conditions. The Xperia 5, however, is still the spotlight with a smoother 120Hz refresh rate and HDR support for enhanced video quality. The Xperia 10 falls short with its 60Hz display. For me, the 60Hz display of the Xperia 10 clearly makes it a loser in comparison to the gorgeous display of the Xperia 5. I, myself personally, cannot go back for using 60Hz displays after using 120 for some years. Here I should say, come on Sony, a 60Hz display is not acceptable in 2023. Shifting gears to the camera department, the Xperia 10 lacks a shutter button and infamous photo and video pro applications, restricting your creative work. Also, its weaker processor means no 4K video shooting, a notable downside compared to the Xperia 5. If you want to check out the video quality on the Xperia 5 and Xperia 10 you can go to the channel and watch my in-depth reviews on both of these phones. For me, lack of 4K is a deal breaker, but not everyone is a content creator, and most of social media platforms don't even support 4K upload, including Instagram and YouTube. The quality of photos from Xperia 10 can compete with Xperia 5 when there's enough lights. Frankly, it was hard to tell for me which phone took which photo when I'm looking at them. Xperia 5 provides more details and images are sharper, but if you plan to share your photos on WhatsApp or Instagram, the compression algorithm will ruin the sharpness anyways. In low light setting, the difference is more obvious, as Xperia 5 takes better photos. Both phones have a night mode. Performance is where the difference can be noticeable. Xperia 5 has a Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 that you can unleash its power by playing chess on a web browser.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Just remember to not play chess when you're shooting a video. For simple tasks like browsing Instagram or checking WhatsApp messages, you won't notice the difference. But if you start to use multitasking in 2 windows, which by the way both phones offer, you'll start to notice the Xperia 10 is not as smooth. Again, this is something most people can live with if they are not power users. I also noticed the Xperia 10.5 takes longer to process HDR images. It can sometimes take up to 10 seconds to process the image in the night mode. Battery life is a draw, with both phones having a 5000 mAh battery and similar active use times. For me, both phones hold charge for around 2 days of 4 to 5 hours daily use. For example, last night I used the phone for 6 to 7 hours and the battery was 50% by the end of the day, which is amazing. The Xperia 5.5 supports wireless charging, but the 10.5 doesn't. I personally don't use wireless charging, but it can be important to some of you. Sony includes the same battery care setting for both phones, and a YouTuber called Mr. Who is the Boss chose Xperia 10.5 as the best battery phone of 2023, which I agree with him. Talking about software, the drawback of both phones is the lack of long-term software support. Both phones support the 2 upcoming versions of Android, which will be Android 14 and 15, and they will receive 3 years of security updates. Both run a clean Android UI. There are some software lags on the Xperia 10.5, including Game Enhancer and more settings for display. Also, as I mentioned, both Camera Pro and Video Pro are missing. Just for this fact alone, I would crown the Xperia 5.5 as the winner in the software department. To conclude the comparison, the Flagship does a much better job in terms of performance and creative work, whereas areas such as look and feel, software experience, and battery is almost a draw. Don't be quick on spending hard-earned money on an expensive phone, while mid-range phones these days offer great performance and spending 2 or 3 times doesn't bring you as much value. The price to value ratio of Xperia 10.5 is amazing. Alternatively, you can opt in for buying an old flagship phone. You can check out my video on Sony Xperia 5 Mark II that is popping up on the video right now. Before we wrap up, show some love by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell. Thank you for watching this video. Tell me in the comments if you think spending on a flagship is a must or if a mid-ranger can do the job just fine. Thanks for tuning in to TechMo. Until next time, bye.